The journey continues.
The journey shall never end. Not the rate we're going. So, Jack's doing what he does best. Jacking it. What are we working on? It's just the water from the...
Yeah, but it's going into the tap.
Is it?
What we're doing is raising the vehicle enough so that we can use the catch hub here for the antifreeze.
Yeah, well, what's the ultimate goal here? What's the end?
Getting the head off of the goddamn motor.
Well, why we gotta remove that?
Because supposedly there is a burnt valve in the back, so we got to have a machine shop check it out and make sure that's the case. Our guy had a boroscope and stuck it into the spark plug hole combustion chamber. It's actually a better view down here.
Yep. It's the number 8 cylinder, he is saying, so.
Yep, so that'd be this one here. And he looked inside and saw that the spacing of the exhaust valve was not ideal to the seat, which likely means then that the valve is burned in some way, shape, or form. Its face and head sealing is, compromised.
So step 1 to removing the head is removing the coolant.
Removing the coolant, and then we'll disconnect the harness from that side with the fuel injection, and we'll see from there. Hopefully it's not going to be too dramatic.
One way to find out.
Just by doing it. Just do it. Do it!
Do it!
Do it live! Just do it!
Our favorite. All right, let's get on it. So what are you doing right now?
Breaking loose the head bolts that are under the valve cover, which are 15 millimeters. Have to break them loose because our little driver can't handle 110 foot-pounds that these f***ers are.
No, you're supposed to say the truth. It can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't have the tripod set up to get a shot of us pulling it off of the engine, but here's the head, and this is the number 8 cylinder. The whole thing, when it goes on there, flips over and then mounts to the engine. And so this is going to be the cylinder that's in the very far back, and the suspect area we think is right there. I can't tell how detailed this is on the camera, but looking at it at the naked eye, it's supposed to have a nice clean edge all the way around, but you can kind of see where it's not the case up near this aspect of the valve. So we think that's likely the suspect. So continue with the plan to bring it into a machine shop and have it completely looked over, pressure tested, resurfaced, and then the valves redone. And of course, that's what we're left with in terms of the engine. And then I'll show you the cylinder, that close up, the one that was suspect. So you can see all the way down in there. And of course inspect it to see if there's any damage. I didn't see anything obvious.
No lines or scoring, anything stupid.
I didn't see anything at all. So we got that head pulled, and we'll get that valve issue fixed. Unfortunately, that was not the only issue that has occurred in this fight to get this engine running properly. So the issues that have occurred before now are as follows.
There was a ground that was not attached. A gremlin disconnected it and made me forget to put it back on, because then it wouldn't start. We had electrical, but we couldn't start the damn thing because of the computer not being flashed. We were forbidden from turning the key. So we did not know this until our guy decided to try to work on it and got it key turned, and it wouldn't engage the start.
Wouldn't even click.
Wouldn't even click. Yep. So thankfully all it was a small ground. It was part of the mystery wire, as we called it, the one that had an isolator ground. But then this had a branch that was hidden behind the loom itself. We couldn't see it at normal angles of looking. So you looked at an oddball angle, then you could see it plain as day. Then the second issue, once that we had that resolved, was the transmission cooler line popped off. Well, there was an exhaust leak that's still the same issue that we have now. The way that the pipe is connected to the collector is fine, but it's from behind that makes it so that that pipe will not move, and you need some movement in order to get that donut to seat correctly. So we're going to end up having to make it less rigid, so we have play in the pipe in order to line up the donut along with the collector flange and head pipe flange.
So when we come back to put the head on, we're going to cut that hanger and make it...
Yep. And make it so that we can
maneuver it into a proper
into
position.
spot to make it seal.
And when the tuner does his thing, he needs that exhaust leak taken care of because it influences the measurements to the O2 sensors, and that will influence
everything, literally, because it'll trick the computer into thinking that it needs more fuel because there's a leak. So it'll richen it up, and we can't have that. Then there was a coolant line for the transmission fluid.
The one that disconnected was on your end, but here's another one.
Right.
An example.
And this plastic retainer here must be put on there because it does hold it in place, even though that there is a little clip that's on the tube itself that holds it in place, but this makes sure that it doesn't go anywhere, and that's what the mistake was. So as he was pulling out, then the damn thing popped off of there, and thankfully he shut it down in time and saw it.
Here is what 6 quarts of tranny fluid looks like all over the ground. Curves around behind the truck there.
And then finally is number 8, for some reason, is missing. And according to the computer, we have pulse width, so we're definitely receiving and it's applying signal to that injector. So fuel is going through. We also know that the spark is correct, and now it's mechanical. If those two things are showing that they're working, then the only other suspect is the mechanical valve actuation. And the theory then is that the valve isn't seating correctly. So that's why we pulled the head, and we'll get the machinist to verify that. And if he doesn't, then we're gonna have a mystery.
So that pretty much wraps up our portion of this project for today. It's up to the machinist next, and we'll be back for the reinstall of the head.
Alright, so it's been a week. What do we find out?
Found out that the head doesn't have any issue. The valves are good, the seal is good for the water, so reinstall the head. At least we ruled it out.
Fantastic.
Yeah, terrific. We're hoping that our theory is correct, that the exhaust leak was too much for the computer to handle, and it tricked it into random misfires, and then being as 8 was closest to the leak, that it decided that was the offending missing cylinder is the hope. So we'll see.
Well, the head, intake, valve cover, all that shit's back on. But we gotta call it a day because Mother Nature wants to come. That's real good.
We had a little nice weather about a half hour ago for about an hour, but this shit's coming over here.
So to be continued tomorrow, maybe.
All right, go ahead.
thing.
So the man that did all the work is gonna do it. It's not tuned yet, so it's gonna run like shit.
There's somebody behind us, the black truck.
Is it?
Security.
Yes. Security.
Exterminator.
It's following us too.
Is he turning right?
Yep.
Right.
Shift's really weird.
Yes, it is. Which it wasn't before, so we're going to be checking the tranny fluid again.
Again, it ain't tuned.
That too, it's communication with the body module and all that crap over.
See, that was more normal.
Could be warming up, I guess.
Does it give a tranny fluid reading on there?
Tranny temperature,
Yeah.
it's supposed to. Temp is 147.
Okay, so that's getting up to operating temp. You still 2-footing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, me too.